My name is Jagan Loftus. We're at Jones Technical Institute, and today we're going to be talking about a hydraulic cylinder. If you look here, we've got it all taken apart already. We'll get down to explaining some parts and identifying some parts here. So let's start with some easy stuff. We got some tie rods here. Those are just going to connect right here through here. And that's going to keep the hydraulic cylinder all together, make sure all the fluid's staying inside. So you've got your cylinder tube here. We've got a rod cap and a clevis. The clevis is where you're going to mount to the vehicle or whatever you're mounting your cylinder to. You've got another rod cap right here, another clevis. This right here is your piston rod or your cylinder shaft, whichever you'd prefer to call it. This one is actually threaded. So here we've got a double action cylinder. We've got a port at the bottom and a port at the top. What that's going to do is it's going to have pressure on both sides of expanding and retracting. So help push pull whatever this thing is push pulling. Next on the list we've got like your plastic pieces, stuff like your seals. We've got these two seals right here are going to be the end at the ends of your cylinders or your cylinder to keep your cylinder all sealed up. This seal right here is your piston seal. This right here is your piston. This is your piston nut, what keeps your piston on. You take your piston off, you just take that off. Piston would come right off. If you needed to replace it, you put the new one on, twist the thing on. So inside of here, you've got another seal on the interior of this that keeps all the hydraulic fluid inside. On the outside, you can see right here, it's got a wiper that wipes all the fluid off of the shaft, making sure it's all staying on the inside and that no debris gets on the inside either. So next thing we'll talk about is inspecting this thing and figuring out what's wrong with it if you need to replace any components on the actual cylinder. So what you'll do is you'll look down the tube and see if there's any burrs or pits or scratches, anything like that. You'll make sure that all your threads on your tie rods are good. No cracks or burrs, anything in your seals, nothing in your plastic that keeps the seals in. Make sure there's no burrs on your shaft. Make sure there's no burrs on your piston. Make sure your clevises are all sturdy enough to support the weight that this thing's going to be pushing up and down. And then you want to make sure that this thing is straight. So what we'll do is we've got this template here that you put your piston rod on top of. It's wooden, so you don't scratch it with any kind of metal object. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a micrometer to 3 separate positions on this rod and make sure that they're all the same amount and it's all nice and equal. You'll also get the micrometer there and turn this 90 degrees. You'll go at least 3 or 4 times to get a different reading to make sure that everything is nice and cylindrical, even, straight. Everything is shooting straight. We'll put this thing back together. So when you're taking one of these off, you're going to want to make sure that you don't crack the lines the incorrect way. You want to make sure that everything is unpressurized correctly. That pressure can get pretty high, up to like 3,000 PSI, so that'll cut your finger clean off. Anything it'll get in your bloodstream, in your skin, it's just bad news. So you want to make sure you're depressurizing things correctly, all that. So thank you very much for watching. This is Jagan Loftus.